Hello everyone, so today I'll be telling you about my experience of going on Casualty again. Be sure to like and subscribe everyone. So as I say again, because in 2020 I had managed to be on Casualty for the first time, I'll show you the clip.
Anyway, I'm going to be late.
It was a split second of my foot. It got featured. I was there for quite a long time, but it was an amazing time. I made a video on it if you want to see. Now I will be timestamping this in the comments because this video is huge. I'm not even joking. This is possibly going to be my biggest video yet. So let's begin. So I got up at 8 o'clock and I got ready to leave at 9. Right, I had to go for my COVID test for Casualty because when you're working on a set, back then during the height of COVID, you had to have a COVID test. You had to have it the day before. The place was about an hour away from our house, so not too far away. We had to go for a COVID test. I didn't need to bring a lot apart from my mask, and no, I didn't need my ID back then. We eventually get there, and I was really excited because we pulled up, and there were all these like decorations from the BBC's most iconic programmes. You know, you got Doctor Who, Casualty, Top Gear, all that sort of stuff. They look really cool. It's like on the windows, like plaques of it, and just fab. We park, and I went in. Now it was really chill in there. A man let me in because you walk in, you go to the desk, you have to take your temperature on this machine, you stand there, it takes the temperature, and then all good. So the man let me in and told me to go to this room where they all do the tests. It was in the BBC canteen actually. The first time I ever did the COVID test for the BBC was in the BBC canteen. And looking around the room was quite big. I mean, there was a few more logos of TV programmes, you know, Publicum and I don't remember anymore. But I had my test done, you know, down the throat, up the nose. You know how it goes. And now how this would work is if it comes back negative, I'll just not hear back from them. So then if it came back positive, then I'd get an email saying, "Hi, you can't come in tomorrow because you might have COVID." It's the one time I don't want an email from the BBC's acting department. But anyways, after that, after my test was done, you just walk out. It was really casual. I took a photo outside of the BBC because, I mean, obviously I was starstruck. You know, I'm in the BBC! And then, it was amazing. It was my first time first time inside the television studio, or one of the television studios. And that was on the 30th of January, which was a Sunday. And then, it turns out it was on Tuesday that the first Casualty shooting set was going to be. And back then I was hoping I didn't test positive, which I didn't, luckily. When I wrote the script, I wrote it in the present tense, so that I've then got to translate it into the past tense for now. Fast forward to the start of February, I woke up about 6 o'clock and I had to wear black trousers and shoes. My godparents helped me to get to the set because Mum was in work. They are amazing, bless them, and Mum. We were driving at 6:45 to the shops nearby where I had to use Google Maps to get to the set 2 minutes away. It was in Chepstow College. We arrived outside the college in a hoodie from my actual college, which I found rather amusing. I met a girl, we both didn't know where to go. We ended up asking the receptionist of the actual college, of Chepstow College, and they directed us to the place. They were very nice. They shut off like half of, I don't know if it was half, but like, you've got a massive college and they shut off part of it just for Casualty. We met someone else and we went to the place together. We eventually found someone from Casualty. I don't know who it was. I think it was like someone on the set. The crew. But they directed us inside the building. They took my name and gave me my costume. I got into said costume because I was already wearing the black trousers and shoes. So I just had to wear a white polo shirt and a purple school uniform. I got a photo of it as well, I can show you. It reminds me of year 11 that did, you know, having a proper uniform. That was good. Now after that, we all had to go into this room where we all met. There were actually 2 rooms, and whichever room you were in depended on what scene you'd be in. So everyone was a school pupil, but you were either running down the stairs and surviving the school shooting, or being in the class where there's a school shooting, if that makes sense. I want to point out, right, I'm really confident on video, you know, talking with my hands, they're flying all over the place, but I'm not very good at making conversation. And I reckon that there was about 20 of us there. Now when we were ready, we had to sign a letter we signed this thing from the BBC saying that we were able to take part in physical activity because I am in a school shooting. I can tell you now because it's past the broadcast. If you want to watch me in Casualty, it's season 36, episode 39 if you want to watch. I'm actually in the very first scene. That's very nice. And actually in more scenes after. Now, basically, the idea was I'd have to run upstairs, run general, and do other stuff like that. As of writing this back then, I had no idea what I'd be doing, which was the fun of it. I signed it and I gave the sheet in. Then I had to do another COVID test, but a disposable one this time though. I don't know what the difference is, but I had to do another one on the actual day. Now, normally when I've had a cold, right, I've never had COVID at the time of writing this, touch wood. I've never had COVID before, apart from my jabs, but that doesn't really count, does it? But anyways, Mum used to always do the COVID test for me. Call me childish, whatever, but she did. I didn't know how to do a COVID test, so I had to ask one of the actors to help me with it, and bless him, he was really nice. He showed me what to do, we did it together, you know, so watch me and copy me, and then you put the thing in, and wait, and then there. He showed me how to do it, and we both tested negative, luckily. That would have been my luck, wouldn't it? You know, negative during the BBC Roadblock test, and then positive on the set. That would have been my luck. And back then, that would have brought you up to date so far. I was just sat down on my phone, because I'm terrible at conversation making. A while later, we were brought for our very first shoot. Well, the practice of our very first shoot. Because this time it was being planned, instead of just being told what to do on the spot, like last time. We practiced it several times. We were at the top of a flight of stairs. We got into 2 lines. Now, me being my introverted self was by the door in this holding room, meaning that I was at the very front, and we were near a doorway next to a stairwell, because it would go. Here's the 2 lines, bit more of a corridor, and then going down. The stunt director was really nice, and he explained to us what we'd be doing. So we'd be running down 3 flights of stairs with some stunt actors throwing themselves down and landing on some mats. It was exciting. You just look terrified, and you run down these flights of stairs. You're dodging the mats, dodging the stunt actors, the stunt performers, and. We did that 4 times, back to back, because you had to go down the stairs, walk across the other side of the place, go up them stairs, and then go around. So it's like a circle. And then after that, we had to wait while some other scenes were being filmed. Now, as per my professional manner, because I actually respect acting and my acting jobs, unlike my job in McDonald's, I was silent. Obviously, you know, I knew what I had to do. I was silent, I was committed, I was ready to go. And then we had to do the same thing, but loud, like shouting, "Run! Move! We're all gonna die!" I don't know why I was so squeaky there, but you get the idea. I'm not gonna belt it out because we have neighbours. But that sort of thing. Now after practicing that again, we stopped and went back into our own room. Those were the practice scenes, and it was good. It was good. After a while of waiting again and just some casual small talk, we were called again for the actual shoots. Now, all the lights and the fancy stuff were there, making my media shoot look like a joke. We do the same thing, it's quite dark, hear all the technical jargon, and action! I have to run around the corner, leading the 35 of us, slam open the door, and then run down the stairs screaming the stuff, you know, we're all gonna die, help, help, all that jazz, whilst trying to avoid the cameras. It was very fun. When we get to the bottom of the stairs, we go around to the other side of the building to go back up, as I just explained earlier. I haven't read this script in about half a year because there's such a difference between making it and then being able to perform it, if you know what I mean. Because I have to wait for the initial broadcast and able to talk about the experience and to show you what happened, obviously, to show the clip and to cut me out and to be able to spoil the plot. With a warning, I did warn you all. Now, we go back downstairs and we queue up. In the room is some really nice food, right? For starters, there's salmon pasta or chicken curry. Then for pudding, it was apple crumble, chocolate cake or fruit salad. I had salmon pasta, apple crumble and a juice box. It was really nice. Now, what got me was the fact that in my acting club for drama, right, one of the most important rules when you're in costume is do not drink or eat anything that may stain your costume. That's a massive rule because, you know, if you spill like say Coke or juice down it, then it's going to stain. Bear in mind, in my scenes, I'm also wearing a white polo shirt with my school jumper, so curry or pasta on a white polo shirt would stain it badly. As extra precaution, I wore the jumper in case I got any down me, like a sort of bib. I didn't plan to spill any down me, obviously, but you never know. I didn't end up spilling any down me, so we're up to date again. Now, bearing in mind, I wasn't wearing the jumper as a jumper. It was around my waist, so if someone did get down my jumper, then you wouldn't see it because it's around the waist. Now, back then, that brought me up to date again, and I was sat in the room wearing my school uniform. Now, after lunch, we were called again to do the same thing. Before lunch, it was established that we ran down 3 flights of stairs, and that's it. Now, after lunch, we extended this to running down the stairs, opening the school door, and running out. We started from different parts of the stairs, you know, sometimes at the very top, sometimes middle, sometimes at the lowest point, sometimes straight outside the door. At one point, though, someone pushed me quite hard, because we were told, you know, try and push each other gently to be like, move, get out of my way, we're gonna die! And, I didn't fall, but my foot turned, like, sideways at one point, as I was stood up running down these stairs, but I carried on, you know, professional. I'm not gonna ruin this take. I ain't gonna be the one to ruin it. So I carried on going for the next few scenes. But for the next few scenes it hurt a bit, but I'm fine. I didn't break it, I just twisted it a bit. But after this shot, we had to run outside the door to the fence. We have to look in despair and try to get out by shaking the fence. That was fun to do. Now, you might have noticed that all of this features around running up and down stairs, up and down a stairwell. And you're absolutely correct. I genuinely believed that the entire shot was going to be running up and down the stairs and out of the school, meaning that we were shooting for about 8 hours with breaks and lunch for about a 20-second scene, maybe. I was used to this sort of thing though, because acting does take ages. Because I mean, I've done acting jobs before where it's taken ages to do a scene that doesn't last long. I mean, I was on the set for 6 hours for my shoe advert, and the extended version is only just over 2 minutes. I've done acting shows where it's taken like 6 months for a 2-hour performance. I was also shocked to find out that there's an extended version of a shoe advert. That was cool. It always takes ages to shoot something in acting, it really does. And then you've got to edit it and plan it and all that, so it takes ages for you to see the finished product. But after we finished shooting our bits there were a few more clips where someone's trampled on at the bottom of the stairs. It looked and sounded horrifying. You actually had stunt performers do it and everything. And then this had cut for the final time. We all celebrated. That was quite emotional. You know, we'd spent the last 10 hours together. And now that was going to be it. You know, we were just going to be going, never to see each other again. So it was quite, you know, it's over. We had to get back into our normal clothes and put our costumes back where we got them from. The costume bags were really hard to deal with. I tried to put mine back in normally, you know, like a normal, decent human being. Which it managed for a bit, but as soon as someone came in from the costume department, you know, someone that came into the room, I turned around and it had all fallen inside the bottom of the bag. It was quite embarrassing, really. I felt quite rude, even though it wasn't my fault. You know, I genuinely tried to hang it up. But they were very nice about it, and they did it for me. I only had to put the polo shirt in and the jumper away, because I was wearing the rest of my costume. It's the same in my acting club, though. I still struggle with the body bags where you put your costume in. It's all over the place. Then we had to sign a chit. C-H-I-T. Now this was basically a piece of paper that said what episode I was in, how long I was there, and some other like small print and rules, you know, like don't tell people that you're going to be in it until the initial broadcast, don't spoil the plot, pretty much until after the broadcast, you know, same rules apply there. Which is why I have to wait for ages to make the video, and there's such a huge gap between writing the script from the start of February to shooting and editing the video now in July. There's such a huge gap. I'm in season 36, episode 39 according to the chit, episode 38 according to the chit, so 20 episodes away at the time of writing it. After that, my godparents took me to McDonald's, we had a McDonald's, and I went home quite tired. But yeah, initially, it was going to be season 36, episode 38, but because of the Texas school shootings, it got delayed by an episode. So episode 39. But it was an amazing day, definitely another awesome addition to my acting career. I had to go back on the 11th, Friday the 11th of February, which I would cover then. But I thought initially that was just going to be there for one day, so that was amazing to be called back. Monday the 7th of February came and I had to have my COVID test again. I went back into Rothlock Studios, had my test, and then I went to college. I woke up at 6, I had my test, and I was back in time for college at 9 o'clock. So there at 6, Rothlock Studio in Cardiff for 7 o'clock, finished having the test at 8 o'clock, and I was back where I live at 9. So it was a busy morning. Filming day 2. Now it was Tuesday the 8th. Again, I woke up at 6 and I got ready, as you do. My godparents took me again, but they hadn't been to Rothlock because the first shooting day was in Chepstow College, but there was a pothole in the road or something, or a sinkhole in the road or something. But we were in Rothlock and we were getting quite late because of all the traffic and all, and they were getting stressed out, bless them. So I told them that we were nearly there, and I just had to walk around the corner because they were stressing out, God bless them. And I felt really guilty. So when they'd gone, I started running. I was like 10 minutes away, but I managed to make it. We got to the wrong place. I'm now running onto the set of Casualty. Jesus Christ, I'm unfit as hell. I'm 15 minutes late, but I'm nearly there. We're different people, well, just a different set this time. So yeah, figured it'd be quicker should I just run. But here I am. Thank God for that. Yeah, they were like getting really stressed out. I didn't want to put that pressure on them, so I told them that we were nearly there. I got out and was going to walk. I got there 15 minutes late. I had to sign in, verify my name. I brought my college lanyard, and then I was taken behind the scenes to get changed. We're going to the holding room, a different holding room this time because we're in Roblox Studios, and I saw loads of hospital equipment and like prosthetics and all this sort of stuff that you'd expect from a hospital drama. And we go into this room that was dimly lit, but really nice. There were loads of ambulances and vans in this big garage we were opposite. You know, we've got this massive garage. We're here. The set is like over there. It's amazing. Me and the rest of the actors met, and it was a laugh. We played Evil Apples, which is basically Cards Against Humanity, until we were called to go. Now, initially I said that there were about between 20 and 30 of us. Now, how many of us were there? There were about 8, I think. About 8 of us, so we got narrowed down. And I was one of the lucky 8. Now, we were shown to the proper set where they shoot inside the hospital, inside BBC Studios, the actual hospital set. It was really cool, right? You have different sections dedicated to different programmes, like the Publicum set, People of the Valleys, it's a Welsh programme, is in one corner. Casualty is actually right next to it. The Doctor Who set was across the place. I wanted to go and see that, but obviously I didn't want to be unprofessional. And they don't actually shoot Doctor Who there anymore, so I'm not sure if it would still exist. But it was cool to be able to look around some of Roblox Studios. It was like your and mainly the set. It was like your standard hospital with fancy equipment all over the place and actors who are regulars on the programme. But I mean, I've never watched Casualty apart from my first episode, so I'd never heard of them. We were told to go back then though, so I think that they changed their mind about us being called. Kind of disappointing at first, but then that's acting, isn't it, you know? We went back to our places and we looked around our holding room. I think it was a set, like they did use it as a set in Casualty because they were posted on the wall from Holby City, which is the fictional city in which Casualty is. And it's also a spin-off show of Casualty, which is now over, I think. I don't know. With them unsure, I'm not sure. But yes, either Holby City is the spin-off of Casualty or Casualty is the spin-off of Holby. I don't know. After a while of general chatting, a few of us were called. Now this was several hours later into the day, because we just spent most of the time sat down. And we were asked to go there, about 4 of us were. And we go back to the set. We did a stretcher being wheeled out into the set for the shot. I was on this hospital bed with pillows and a blanket, and I was strapped into a seatbelt built into the bed, as if I was critical. It was surreal. Like, I was meant to just stare blankly into the distance. I was being wheeled out. It was very dramatic. But I wasn't actually sure whether I was meant to be dead or not. They never said, so I think I was just meant to steer up. I hope I was. I was never told, but you know, they used it in the programme, so I think I did good. We had lunch then. Now, last time we had food brought, but this time we had to pay for our food, which initially was a surprise, but I would later find out why. There's a 10 to 15 minute walk from our holding space to BBC Roblox Studios canteen, so I had to walk back to get my wallet, which I brought luckily, and I got back, and while no one was there, I took a photo, which I regard precious to me. It really is. It's a photo of me in the holding space, holding a Casualty mug. It would have been a bit more cringy, I think, to have done with everyone watching, so I waited until no one was there. So I took the chance. Although to be fair, looking back, I don't think anyone would have cared. But yeah, I took the chance. I put my phone on the table, took the photo, and then we had that. But anyways, after that, I made my way back to get some food. Now that was cooked in the BBC Studios canteen. I had corned beef hash with extra beans. It was amazing. Plus a Dr Pepper and a coconut cake, which came to about £7 overall. But it was amazing. And it comes in like this white takeout tray as well, so you can take it back to your holding room, or you can sit in the canteen. It was fantastic there, it really was. After the food, we go back to the holding room, where we waited further until we were called for the final time. Now this time we were all sat in the hospital set, and there was a huge TV here where you could see the camera live feed. It was like watching live Casualty on the big screen. We were there for about 2 hours until we were called back to go. Now again, when you finish an acting job, you have to sign your chit. This is basically saying, you know, I will not spoil the plot / share any photos or any videos online until the initial live broadcast. And that you agree to all that. You know, if you don't agree and you do something stupid, you could get fined or banned from working in the BBC and all that jazz. Which is why, again, there's such a gap between writing the script for this and performing / editing / uploading them. About a week went by then, and I thought that my Casualty days were over. But I got a message on WhatsApp. I'd been asked to return to Casualty for quite a few days. Wednesday to Saturday of February half term, which was the 23rd to 27th of February. I couldn't turn that down. I was ecstatic, you know, I'm going to be back on Casualty. Oh, it was fantastic. It really was the best news I'd heard in possibly all my life. So now, today or back then, I could be in BBC Studios again. We woke up at 7 and my godparents took me to BBC Overlook Studios. They managed to get outside this time though, so there was no rush. This was for the third time that they took me, because it was two for the shoots and one for my COVID test. Now after that, the four of us were talking for ages. By the way, we got narrowed down. Did we get narrowed down back then? Yeah, we got narrowed down slightly to 6 of us, and one of the actors there was a Sontaran in Doctor Who. It was really cool, and yeah, we went from 30 of us to 6 of us within day 3. Now after that, we went into another holding room, which was a lot more relaxed. We had sofas, we had a TV that didn't work, it didn't have any signal, and we had tables. We'd been sat waiting for about 3 hours back then, and I was starving. That's what I put. We've been sat waiting for about 3 hours now. I'm starving. You know, always thinking with my gut. Now at 1 o'clock it was lunch, and by this point we'd been sat waiting for 4 hours. In this time I was practicing my drama script, seeing my college experience, part 10.5 I think it was. I made a whole video on the drama rehearsal / performance / assessment. And because we were in BBC Studios again, we had to pay for our food, which is fine. I brought my bank card, and the food there is amazing. I had corned beef hash and chips with gravy in a takeaway box with added salt and pepper and 1 sachet of mayo, because each additional one is 10p. The food was amazing, well worth the money. It was heavenly. I wish I could eat there every day. I would happily go bankrupt eating food from the BBC. I brought mine back to the holding room and I ate a lot. It's amazing. I can't emphasise enough how delicious the food is. Now my costume is a white polo shirt and a purple uniform around my waist. For my dinner I put on the uniform, because then if I spilled any on it, it would be on the purple jumper that's barely visible. But I talked about that days 1 and days 2. And not the white polo shirt that would be permanently stained. Plus, eating in costume it still doesn't seem right to me, because, you know, it's been drilled into me at my acting club to not eat in your costume. The only thing that you're meant to have in your costume is water or lemonade, or, like, I suppose polos are alright, you know, sweets that won't stain you at all. Hence why I took precaution. We had an hour for lunch, and then we proceeded to wait for longer, so technically we would have had longer for lunch if we didn't finish. Now lunch lasted an hour, about until 2:05, and now after that there were a solid 3 hours go by. Some people slept. I tried at one point, but I couldn't get off to sleep because I was in this armchair, you know, like that. I can't sleep like that. Some people did schoolwork. Some spent an unhealthy amount of time on their phone. I was one of those people. And when there were about 2 hours left, we were called. We were so happy. A few people had already been called today, but this was my first time on the 3rd day. We went to the hospital set where I met Michael Stevenson. He plays Ian Dean. He's one of the paramedics in the show. Our shot was literally, so he had to walk. We had to walk forward with him directing me about 10 meters forward. Like, you can just about see me in the show. I think it's quite blurry though, because you focus on the action in the room, not behind the room where we are. But yeah, he was a paramedic, and I was but a pupil who survived a school shooting. We did that a few times, and then we were called back. 2 hours go by, and we were free to go. We had to sign a chit again, which back then I thought that we'd have to. I was thinking that we'd have to after every shooting day, which I can safely tell you we did. I have 7 chits. Funnily enough, they're actually in my safe. I don't know if you can see it from this angle, but they're actually in there. Now at this point, I had to wait for Mum to pick me up from Roadblock Studios because we live about an hour and a half away. And I nearly ended up staying in a hotel because it was believed to be easier. But the nearest one was booked up because of, all the actual cast and the crew. The main cast and crew. The ones that are actually in the show regularly. Or part of the show regularly. Make the show regularly. You know what I mean. But after waiting the hour, Mum came and we went to KFC. When I was waiting in the dark. Stranded in Bridgend until Mum comes and picks me up. Oh, it's really good. Look on. In the windows, I don't know if you can see it with this, they've got a TARDIS in the window. It's great. They've also got Daleks and Cybermen as well. Honestly, it's amazing. In the dark, because it was winter back then, because it was the start of the year, it was amazing. It was honestly spectacular. Waiting in the dark in Cardiff, the nightlife looks amazing there. And now shooting day 4. Good morning, everyone. Back then, I was writing in the present tense. Today, we were needed to be on set for 8 o'clock. So even back then, I was writing in the past tense. And guess who woke up at 6? We arrived at BBC Studios at about 7:30. So I went and spent some money on breakfast. It was really nice, right? The BBC have a really smart system for this. So each individual breakfast food item is paid for. So like, 1 piece of bacon is 70p. An egg was 35p, hash browns are 50p. I had a bacon roll for 150, and I treated myself to an extra poached egg. I also got a bottle of Coke because, that's healthy, isn't it? And it was going to be my drink for the day. We met in the canteen and we were taken to get changed again into my school/pupil uniform. The white polo shirt, purple jumper around my waist. And we get into the holding room, like yesterday where we would wait. About 30 minutes later, me and someone else were called. We went into the studio set and we were used for about 5 minutes. Right. One of the doctors directs me to a seat in this shot. Now I'm quite excited to see what makes it in the final episode, because it's going to be a special one. I know that it's a special episode, not just because I'm in it, but it is like it's the season build up. It's the season special episode. But yeah, I didn't even remember anything I'd done anymore, so we were just waiting again after we'd shot that. I've done about 3 scenes so far, 3 short scenes. After a while later, we were called again, me and the same girl. So we were back on the hospital set. And this time, we were shooting for a while, and I loved every second of it. Now this bit actually made it into the final episode, and I'd be discussing with the doctor for a bit, and with a police officer, And then a police officer comes in and begins to want to take notes on me. Who I am just a distraught pupil played by me, and I had to try and describe the event. I mean, it was so traumatizing. It was so exciting to play, and because everyone was just so dedicated, everyone wants to look amazing on camera, as you do, so you got lots of material to go off. Everyone's helping each other build, and great. And back then I didn't know if the final cut would make it, but it did. And bless him, the police officer, he asks for a notebook from someone as unscripted business, so that he could write down all the stuff. Oh, was amazing. Everyone has a great passion for acting, and that's what I love. The feeling I've had during this experience, I've only ever had when I'm acting or on set. Like, this is what I want to do in future. It's like a fire inside you, and you want to keep it alight and going for as long as you can, you know. Working in McDonald's is it is not a great job compared to acting. I would happily live in BBC studios and do this sort of thing every day. Just saying, BBC. After that, we were sent back to the room again, where I played some games on my phone. Back then I was a fan of Clash Royale, as it goes. I haven't played that in months now. Yeah. A bit of Clash Royale as it goes for another hour until we were called again. This was all before Cookie Run Kingdom and before I started streaming it. Now, today has been my busiest day in BBC Studios, and I loved it. So I started at the far back with one of the doctors, played by Michael Stevenson, who was a lovely man. He suggested me another acting agency as well to apply to, and we talked at one point about Doctor Who. That was fun. That was very fun. But anyways, Ian showed me around the hospital. We go here, around the room where they're talking about the school shooter's son, and into one of the hospital bed quarters. We did this scene several times, and then it was lunch. Now for lunch today, it was chicken curry or vegetable curry in the BBC canteen. I had a chicken curry with a poppadom and a pasty, with a pasty thing that I don't remember the name of, but it was very nice. Very, very, very nice. I also had my free sachet of mayo and some salt. It's become a bit of a running gag now, you know, don't forget your free sachet of mayo. We were also reading up on the Russia-Ukraine crisis, which started on the 24th. That was mad, wasn't it? But that was definitely something. Where Putin had sent bombs to Ukraine. People stirring up stuff and World War III being mentioned and all that jazz. And it's mad to think it's still going on. Like, honestly, Putin, let's not get too political. That's not relevant. But after lunch, we were sat in the room again until we were called again. All that time yesterday spent in the holding room was suddenly making sense because today's scenes apparently featured me in them quite a bit. I don't know how many scenes I was supposedly going to be in. Looking back, I was in quite a few. But I thought I was only having a very minor role. You know, like last time, only having my foot. But no, I've actually been in quite a lot now. Now this time when I was called up, I was doing the same thing as last time, but I didn't have to go to a hospital bed, so it was just going zip, zip, zip. I was able to watch the scene being shot live, where the school shooter is under arrest in the hospital. So the room is here, we're all watching it here. And there's something about watching TV drama live that just, it makes it that bit more dramatic. Do you know what I mean? Like, you're watching it live before anyone else can. There are people that absolutely love Casualty, and we were able to watch it before them. We filmed the scene a few more times, and then we went back into our holding room, where I looked into this new acting agency. I signed up for it. I had to wait for them to approve my account. Now, at about 18:40, we finished. We got our costumes, signed the chit, and we went home. And we got pizza. I've been having a very unhealthy diet this week, but it's so worth it. You know, I would happily cut my lifespan in half to be able to work as an actor. So worth it. Shooting day 5. Hello, we woke up at 6ish again, out of the house by 6:30. Arrived on BBC Studios at 7:20. I got breakfast, which was a bacon roll with 2 eggs and a hash brown, which was very nice. I treated myself. I got a hot chocolate, and I made a new friend in the form of the canteen woman, Amanda. She was very nice, bless her. Now, how we actually met was, I was going to try and order a hot chocolate in Welsh, because we're in Cardiff, which is the pinnacle of Welsh. I say, Shwmai, ga I brynu siocled boeth os gwelwch yn dda? Hello, may I buy a hot chocolate, please? She was very nice, and we were talking for a while, and she makes really, really, really nice hot chocolate, bless her. And back then I was quite nervous because, again, in real life, I'm quite quiet. I'm shy. I'm not like this when I'm not as confident as I am like this. But anyways, we get changed, and we were taken into the ambulance room from the second day of filming, the little holding room where I got this photo of me holding the mug. About 2 hours in, I was called. Another doctor would show me around to the corner of the hospital room. That was literally it. We filmed that twice, and then I went back into our holding room. I wasn't called again after that. Others were, but I wasn't because I think I'd filmed all my stuff yesterday. I don't know. But we had lunch, which was fish and chips, which was very nice. And I had some hot chocolate too. I bought another hot chocolate. Now, after lunch, we were particularly bored, so someone had the idea to play Find the Cup. We found the Casualty mug that I took a photo with on the second shoot, and we would hide it in reasonable places in the room. You know, just like under the table, under the chairs, behind the plant pot, that sort of thing. It was fun. Not long after that, we were told to go home. I was in 8 till 4 today. So, and again, doing that in McDonald's or a normal job, I'd probably hate that. But for acting, I'd love to do that. I would love to be there for that long. And now, for shooting day 6, which was the final day, today we were asked to be on set for 7:25, meaning that we were awake at 5ish, out of the house by 6ish, we got a McDonald's breakfast, and we dropped my sisters off at Nan's. We got there at 7:45. Got a really itchy nose. And we were taken to the set where we got changed for the final time. And we were in the holding room. Now the main difference about this day was that Mum came with me because Casualty also wanted my mum. My mum is not an actor by all means, and she's very clear about this because she doesn't like acting, but they wanted parents on for some reason. Back then I didn't know why. Now this does mean that there will be now 3 consecutive generations of my family on TV. My nan, my mum and me. After we got changed, we were taken into the props room. Now in the props room you had, this is where everyone was being held. You had the actors, the SAs, I'm one of the SAs, a supporting artist, such the extras, right? And a few parents, meaning that the conversations going on were a lot more PG than they were in previous days. We had to sit and wait in there for a while. Now I won't lie, on the other recording days we had some great conversations. Some were less than PG, especially when we were playing, what's in that game? The Apples game. I can't remember what it's called. I haven't played it since then. And I wasn't going to have those with Mum around, obviously. Now the first time we were called was about 11. We did the outside shots, but it was freezing, and bearing in mind I had to wear just a polo shirt with my hoodie around my waist. People were looking at me in awe like, how is he doing that? And I'm not joking when I say I was losing colour in my hand, like they were going white or white or blue, one of them. The Casualty staff, I don't know why I kept this is quite sad. The Casualty staff actually gave us patches. This was a hand pouch, but you also had back ones where you put them on your back and they'd warm you up. It worked slightly, but not enough to really make a difference. And again, you also had these hand warmers. This is 6 months old now. They're like tea bags, but you hold them. You have one for both hand. And the bags of whatever. I dropped it. They're bags of whatever that become really hot when exposed to air. Now these got really hot, these worked really well. And me and Mum were at the front. I'd never expected in my entire acting career that I'd be acting with Mum. That was definitely an experience. And also before, recording this was before the diet costume one I've mentioned in my college experience, where I acted alongside my godfather. So that was also new. That was cool. But yeah, she would be supporting me as we leave the hospital, and we filmed that about 10 times, I reckon. Some as rehearsals, and some were legit. It was fun. What was scary though is that they had drones, right? And they were really close and deafening. Those blades would slice you open very quickly. they were used for establishing shots. You know, we were walking out and the drone goes for the end credits. You know, getting further away from the hospital for that. Back then I wasn't sure though. And when we were inside, we were able to watch on a big screen again, you know, what was being played, but what was being, we were able to watch the camera live feed. And being able to watch what was potentially going to be on TV 3-4 months before anyone else. Humble brag. Now, I only know one of the people who was a massive Casualty fan, and that's Ethan, bless him. He's a massive fan of the show. He was only in the one day, but we're very good friends. Now, this took us until about 1:30 when we had lunch. My final BBC lunch. I had lasagna with chips. It was very nice. I had my salt, my pepper, and this time 1 free salad cream sachet. Because Mum was there, she paid for our meals, plus 2 drinks and Kit Kats, so I didn't have to pay for that day's meal. Now, let's do the maths. 6 shooting days, minus 2 because the first and last weren't paid for by me, so 4. 4 lots of, let's say, £6 because it's £4.75, but drinks were £1.30, so that comes to about £24 overall. So I'd spent £24 on 4 really nice meals that week, making me want to live in BBC Studios. Like, I would quite happily dedicate my entire life to Casualty, Publicum, People of the Valleys, the Welsh programme, and any Doctor Who scenes filmed there. I'm not sure what else they filmed there, but I would quite happily dedicate the rest of my life to filming there. Any filming would do though. Just saying, BBC. Now, we finished lunch and we're back to where we were being held. Mum had a photo with 2 of the main cast. I can't remember who it was. But eventually all the parents were called to do a shoot. Now, me and the actors I'd spent the last week with, we talked again for about I don't know how long, but we talked for a while. You know, without having to be PG because all the parents weren't around. Sorry, Mum. When Mum came out, she actually told me that she actually spoke on camera, apparently. I was jealous, but apparently Mum wasn't thrilled. Right. Now, Mum confirmed that day that acting wasn't for her. Like, she didn't like acting. It wasn't her ideal career. From all the sitting and all that jazz and waiting to be called and all that. But I would have loved to have had that. I'd have loved to have had audible lines and, you know, be made part of the thing. But apparently Mum wasn't thrilled. I don't know what they were filming. Back then I didn't know what they were filming. But it was the bit when, like, all the parents were in the hospital. Where's my son? Where's my daughter? Have you seen her? All that. Yeah. It was doing... They were doing that. After that, we got called to go, really. We got unchanged. We said goodbye for the final time. We signed the chits. And we left. Now, this was quite hard because after spending, you know, a week of about 1/52 of my year with these people, I was slightly attached to them. Like, they were really funny, decent people. Their very existence continues to motivate me to want to become an actor, because when you see others achieving their dreams and their goals, it makes your own seem really doable. I mean, I've got Michael Sheen as a Welsh actor. I've got Michael Stevenson now. The people I worked with, you've got Ethan, Henry Morgan. I also worked with him as well. He was very nice. One of the people I was working with was a Sontaran in Doctor Who as well. Now that's a challenge to overcome. You know, I've got to be in Doctor Who at some point. I really hope I do. This is where the script becomes more modern now, because I was now coming back to the script that I wrote months ago. My episode had finally gone out. It's called Wednesday's Child, Series 36, Episode 39 of Casualty. Would have been Series 36, Episode 38, but the Texas school shooting happened, so it got delayed, and they got a future episode and put it before the school shooting. Mum was actually in the episode twice, but I'm not going to show you the main bit she was in for privacy. I'm also in the previously trailer in the next episode, which is nice. the bit where they bust open the door and run down. So that is all the scenes I'm in. By some miracle, I managed to be in the main episode of that series, of that season, because it was it's a feature length like movie one, about an hour and a half, I think. It was fantastic. It really was a phenomenal experience, and I'll never forget it. I met some of the actors. You know, I saw what it's like to live as an actor. Sometimes you might have to live in a hotel, eat unhealthy, might not eat a lot. It could be anything. That's the life for me, and hopefully in future it can come true and I won't be working elsewhere. But anyways guys, that concludes the end of this video. Thank you for watching everyone. Be sure to like, subscribe, have a good day, don't forget to drink hot chocolate, stay safe, and for me it's goodbye for now. It took ages to be able to make this casualty video, and actually I've been recording for about an hour. Like, there's no, like, I filmed all this in one sitting, so that's a joy, and I'm now going to have a rest and rest my voice.